So just a few weeks ago, Nextcloud dropped their Hub 26 winter release, a pretty substantial one at that. They've completely rewrote a big chunk of how Nextcloud handles files under the hood, federation is getting better, the AI assistant is improving, and there's just a lot of quality of life enhancements within Talk, Mail, and Office that I want to go through. Of course, I'll link to their full blog post as well as one that I put together, so all that will be down below. So in this video, we're going to be covering a lot of those changes, but first I'm going to show you how to actually update it because I talk about Nextcloud quite a bit, so there's a chance that you might already be running the all-in-one instance. But before all of that, we need to give a second to thank the sponsor of today's video. So if you're running any kind of business or side project, you know how quickly communication can get out of hand. You've got emails going one way, customer questions coming in from another. Maybe you're trying to send out a newsletter or a promotion. All of this scattered across 5 different tools. It is a mess. That is where Brevo comes in. Brevo is a marketing automation and CRM platform that brings all of this into one place. Email marketing, SMS campaigns, chat, WhatsApp, automation workflows, all under one roof. And the thing I really appreciate about it is that it's built for small to medium-sized businesses, so you don't need a dedicated marketing team to figure this out. One feature that's pretty cool is their Aura AI, which helps you build out campaigns and write better emails without spending hours staring at a blank screen. You set up your automation once, like a welcome series for new customers or a follow-up after a purchase, and it just runs. You're building real relationships with your customers without having to manually send every single message. They've got really solid analytics too, so you can actually see what's working and what isn't, so there's no more guessing. If you want to simplify your marketing and actually grow your business, go ahead and check out Brevo. Use my link in the description to save 50% off of their starter and standard plans for the first 3 months. That's a really solid deal. Go ahead and check the link down below to get started today. So real quick, if you don't know, what is Nextcloud? Basically, it is a free and open source alternative to something like a Google Drive, Google Workspace, as it has everything you're going to need. It has files, contacts, emails, video conferencing, documents with collaborative editing, all of that, and you could self-host it on your very own hardware, on a VPS, however you want to do it. Granted, I will know it's a pretty large application, so the better the hardware, the better of an experience you'll have in general, but some of the updates kind of addressed some issues that it's had in the past. The whole idea of Nextcloud is to own your data, know where your data actually is, and you don't have big tech companies using your data, analyzing it, using it to train models, and all that garbage. That's the general appeal, and that's why me and a lot of other kind of home lab enthusiasts like to use it. So with that, you can see right now I'm on 25 autumn, 26 winter is what is released. You could see their full release announcement right here. Again, quite a bit of things have been added, changed, and improved. But first things first, I'm going to do a little update guide because, like I said, chances are some of you might be running it. And thankfully, it's not too much work because they have their own little update guide right here. You can wait around a little bit for them to actually release 33 properly and get updated that way. But if you're impatient like me and you want to run it now, you're going to have to switch to the beta channel. So what I'm going to do is open up a terminal here and actually SSH into the VM that I have Nextcloud all-in-one running on, just like so. We're going to say yes, type in my password, and we're in. So first it's suggesting we go ahead and create a backup. Probably a good idea. So we are going to stop the container just like this. So that way I can actually access our kind of all-in-one management instance. So once that container stops, give this a refresh here and we can sign in. Which to do that, you're going to go down here to backup and restore, but I live on the edge and I'm going to go ahead and go to the next step. Don't recommend you do that. But what we're going to want to do is actually execute into the all-in-one container. So just like this. And now that we are in, we are going to run this command right here, which is going to change a value in our PHP config file to change it to the beta release. So just like that. And then from there, we're going to run the update. So here we're going to get this updated. So the current version you could see was 32, but now it's going to be downloading 33.0 and it's just about finished up. Once that does finish, we're going to switch back to the stable channel. It won't downgrade us, but it'll make it so it won't update to the next beta version again automatically. And there we go. The OCC upgrade is finished. So we're going to drop that in to switch back to stable. We can use this command here to show the status. And then finally we can exit out. So if I go back over here to my all-in-one instance, give it a refresh. So what I'm going to do is stop these containers real quick. And now we're going to do a docker compose restart. So then we're going to restart that all-in-one master container. And now if I refresh this and then start up our containers, it's going to pull all those images. One thing that I do like that I haven't really touched on is down here, they make it really easy to select between Nextcloud Office and Only Office, which is cool that they actually did that. But it looks like all of our containers are running. So let's go over here, give it a little refresh. You can see we're now on the version 33. Everything seems to be looking good. Nice. So now let's get into what has actually changed in this release. And I want to start with the big one to me, and that is the 88 engine right here. This is the headliner and probably the big thing that most people are actually going to feel. This is their new 88 engine. And it's a pretty significant rewrite of how Nextcloud actually accesses files under the hood. Now, they rewrote the core file access layer using PHP, Rust, and Go, which is kind of cool. They named it after 88 Lovelace, the mathematician who often is considered the first computer programmer, which is a nice touch. So what does this actually mean in practice? A few things. Photo preview generation uses 40 to 90% fewer resources, and if you're on a larger instance of Nextcloud that has like S3 object storage, files and previews can be downloaded directly without routing through the PHP layer, which is a big deal for bigger deployments. Which this paired with the other performance kind of improvements in the last few hub releases has really made it just a wonderful platform to work with. In some of their own independent testing, downloading like a smaller 10 megabyte file went from taking around like 2 seconds to like 0.4 seconds. Now, another thing that is actually standing out is the federation. Federation is something that makes Nextcloud completely different from a lot of the other platforms and solutions in kind of the similar space. And federation just basically means that you can connect different Nextcloud instances to each other. An example of another thing that is federated is something like Mastodon, as you can have a bunch of different instances and separate Mastodon running websites, but they can still connect to each other. And in Hub 26, they expanded that to include Deck, their little Kanban project management thing, Calendar, and Teams. So that way you can share your deck with somebody from a different organization on a different Nextcloud instance, browse it, add cards, create stacks, and so on. Calendar Federation allows you to share calendars across servers for cross-team planning, and Teams, which are basically group collections in Nextcloud, now include people from different instances, which is nice. And it works pretty cool. It's not like all Nextcloud instances are automatically connected to each other. If I go over here to my administrative settings, and then we go down to the sharing setting, which is right here, and then scroll down, you will be able to see the federated cloud sharing right here, trusted servers. So this is where you add other Nextcloud instances that you can communicate with. Which they also added the file locking support in federated sharing, which closes a gap here. If you and somebody from another organization are collaborating on the same file, you can now lock it to prevent conflicts. And another big one is going to be data migration. Easily migrate, export, import data here. And this is something that I've seen quite a bit with people complaining on like forums who use a managed instance of Nextcloud with some hosting provider, them not being able to easily take their data out and move it around. This solves that, as you can now import, export your data across Nextcloud instances, and coverage is a lot more complete now. Mail, contacts, calendar, tasks, and deck are all included. So if you want to move from one hosting provider to another, you're setting up your own, you're just doing some kind of migration, it is a much cleaner process. And then we got to talk about Nextcloud Talk. This feature I personally don't really use too often, but I see the value for sure. All the teams I work with unfortunately use either like Google Meet or Slack. I hate it. But here there's a solid list of changes. We have pinning, scheduling, and more, so you can now pin messages in a group conversation. This is something that pretty much every other chat application has, and it's finally here in Talk. You can set a auto timer, which is cool to unpin the message later on, and you can browse all the pinned messages in the sidebar. Really good for announcements, reminders, or links that you don't want to get buried. They've also added scheduled messaging, so you can go ahead and draft a message, send it at a specific time. So if you're the kind of person that like writes things out at night, doesn't want to ping your team with something, you can schedule it to send in the morning. Another thing you kind of see here in this picture is the split message bubbles. So your messages will show up on the right side, similar to like iMessage, WhatsApp. It's optional, but people will probably enable that. On the actual call side, live transcription now supports translations. So if you're in a meeting with people, they start speaking different languages, you could get real-time translations. It's powered by AI, you have to enable it, but if you're somebody who works with international teams, it's a must-have. And audio options have been expanded, so now you can turn on auto gain, echo cancellation, noise suppression as opt-in settings, which is nice. And the background blur in video now uses hardware acceleration, so it's a lot less work on the CPU. And then finally, we have mail updates, which is actually something that I have been using quite a bit. But now attachments are visible directly in your thread list, so when you open a conversation, you can see right away that there's a document or an image attached to it without scrolling through every message to find it. It's a small thing, but really nice. Meeting invites now auto-populate in your calendar, so when you enable this setting, any meeting invitation you receive in an email shows up in Nextcloud Calendar as a tentative event, similar to like getting an invite for Google Calendars. It just kind of shows up. You can accept or decline from there. And now favorite threads lets you pin conversations to the top of your inbox. Compact mode reviews message previews so you can see more emails at once. And filtering has been improved. Quick filters for unread emails with attachments and emails addressed directly to you are right on top of the inbox now. So just a nice quality of life thing overall. And then, of course, one of my favorite things, there have been quite a bit of improvements to Nextcloud Office. Document comparison is a big new feature that they gave you, and there are two ways to do it. A side-by-side comparison that shows both files at once with all the changes highlighted and tracked in the left margin. So now if you're dealing with things like contracts, policies, or anything where you're working with multiple versions of an important document, this is a must-have and I'm really glad they added it. And now on the Whiteboard side, this thing is rather new. It's growing up pretty fast. They added timers, voting, comments, emoji reactions, table embedding, and version history. So if you're using a third-party whiteboard tool for team sessions, it's honestly worth taking a look at to what they're building in Nextcloud. And now for the AI Assistant. Again, I know a lot of you hate AI, there are chapters. The Assistant now has memories, so it can remember context from your previous conversations, so you don't have to re-explain your situation every single time. You can also configure it to delete those memories if you want, which is the right call to have that. It's nice that they have these controls from the start instead of it being an afterthought. AI content labeling is new. Images, documents, and audio generated by AI will now be labeled as such, which this aligns with the EU AI Act requirements around disclosure of AI-generated content. If you don't know already, Nextcloud is a Germany-based company, which European-based solutions for a lot of this stuff is nice because usually Europe is a lot better about their policies and whatnot than the US. I mean, the US has definitely had some absolute brain-dead policies when it comes to tech legislation as of late. The EU seems to be generally on a much better track with this kind of stuff. Granted, it's not all perfect either. Performance on the AI side has also improved quite a bit. All locally running AI apps are up to 10 seconds faster per prompt, and local transcription is now 5 to 8 times faster, which is a real difference if you're running Whisper or something similar on your own hardware. And as always, this AI stuff in Nextcloud is completely optional. Enable it, disable it at your heart's content. It's all up to you. So that's the big changes that stood out to me with this release of Nextcloud Hub 26. I'm super excited to use it and not have to fork over money to other companies because, I mean, a lot of us already have a couple hard drives laying around. Why would I pay Google $10 a month for a terabyte of data when I could just do it myself? But with that, I'm really curious. Are you guys actually running Nextcloud? Are you using some other solution? Are you just using file shares? What do you got going on? I'm curious. Let me know down below. And with all that, I do hope you have an absolutely beautiful day and goodbye.